8-0 it ended in favor of Newcastle against Sheffield United. Two United, but one is more United than the other one. And of course, Arsenal cannot win even when they were given the victory on the platter of gold. As a matter of fact, Spurs played better in the game. And of course, Barcelona does not want to lose right now. Looks like they're going to be winning the league. All things being equal, Real Madrid are down to the wire against Atletico Madrid. This and more will be dissecting on the show today. It's 16 minutes with News Instanta. I have with me my co-host, my regular co-host, of course, Edwin Verdosa, and of course, I have Celestine Babayaro. I'm just calling them by their nickname today. I've forgotten their names. You can see their name if you're interested in their names, but I'm not interested in their names today. I'll allow them to introduce themselves with their real name, the club they support, and what they think is going to happen today. Don't go anywhere, guys. Let's start with Edwin Van Dusa. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the show. And as written on the screen, my name is Shea Jai. I support Manchester United. Not very good times for Manchester United at the moment, but obviously we expect that the team will definitely climb up to the position that they're supposed to be. Gradually, the regular players are coming back from injury. I think Varane is getting back to fitness, which is a good news for the defense. And what a fantastic Premier League weekend, actually. Newcastle running riots with 8 different goal scorers. That's a new record right now for the EPL. And also fantastic game of football from Man City. The dazzling first goal. They took up to like 46 passes to set up their goal. I think that's second to the second best goal from in terms of number of passes put together before the goal. And others will be discussed as we go on. Welcome everyone once more.
All right, perfect. And of course, Celestine Babayaro.
Oh, okay. Let me introduce myself since we are going to the Dart Club line. Okay, as you can see, my name is Wale. My Twitter handle has my club name there, Walex Man U. Okay. Let me say I was destined and born to support Man United. It was already written. And I have won Man United have won 2 Champions League in my lifetime. At least that is very no matter what happened for the rest of those two, I will cherish those moments forever.
Especially the 99 victory
As
with the
in,
one of the
I,
most memorable.
I will cherish those moments forever. No matter what happens to United in the next 20, 30 years, as the club future looks like, it doesn't make any sense as it is. But those moments, it will live. I remember in 2008, when I won the Champions League. That was the era when social media was getting more popular in this part of the world. I remember I didn't sleep from that night to the following morning. It
Oh
was from
wow.
one call. Then we have these free night calls. It was from one night call to the other, reminiscing about how it all went down in Moscow that night. So unless something happens and the Glazer decide to let somebody, as it stands now, I will keep reminiscing those moments. Like Debo said, we have a lot of things to discuss on the show today. Don't let me distract you guys. It's
Oh,
been a weekend of wonderful football.
all right.
Wonderful football. So we have a lot to discuss.
All right, perfect. Don't forget this show is proudly sponsored by Bukenzo Glamps, and of course, the show is being aired on Queen Talk TV, on Amazon TV, and of course on our band radio scope, number one Canadian internet radio. Just before we jump into the Premier League and the actions that went down in the Premier League this weekend, we'll be talking about a little bit of Champions League review games. We're just gonna pick 1, 2, 3 games. As a matter of fact, the one that we actually did say, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I believe Bayern Munich and Manchester United will be foremost out of all these games. Bayern eventually won 4-3. The scoreline did not show what happened on the night. United should have lost heavily. Bayern Munich forgot their keeper at home because that guy that kept that day is not a goalkeeper as far as I'm concerned. Overall, Shay, the set victory for Bayern, no doubt about it. The penalty looks kind of harsh. It is a penalty to me, but looks kind of harsh. And a deserved victory for Bayern, I will assume.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a deserved victory for Bayern. I also feel they actually, one way or the other, imposed their superiority on that particular game. Uh, United kept, keeping, they kept on, scoring to keep themselves in the game. But almost immediately, Bayern replies, how to reply them. So it shows that particular superiority. Just think about it for 1 second and imagine that Bayern Munich team decided to to do like a Manchester United that like to win with 1 goal margin. That game could have ended in a draw,
Not draw,
and that
yeah,
shows
100%.
a team that knows what they are doing basically. But also, you have to give some kudos to the Manchester United players on the night. I think they were totally low in confidence before the game, but they started the brighter team. And I feel if Onana had kept his head in the game properly and didn't
Hmm.
really fumble that first goal, it could
Yeah,
have been something different. Also, had it been Pelistri just was just a little bit faster
more
to
couples.
the
Yeah.
ball, yeah, to the ball before Davis on the night. Maybe we
Uh
could have
huh.
seen a different game. However, I still believe probably the best result United could have gotten from that game would have
Was
been
a
a
draw.
draw. Because I still think the likes of Casemiro are still really low in terms of the energy and the pace in the midfield. But I think the game just showed a little bit of improvement in that team. Because for me, I think that the beginning of the season was quite nothing to write home
To right
about.
about.
Yeah, if you talk about Manchester United team. So that
All right.
particular game shows what they can do. And I think that sums it up for them on the night.
All right, perfect. And of course, Olale, you said on the last episode of the show that Newcastle were going to win away to AC Milan. Thank your stars that Kachi was not here that they'll have chopped your head off, but but it wasn't here. So but it ended in a scoreless draw. New Milan could have won that easily. They were the better side, had more possession, and were in a better position. As a matter of fact, do you think it's a balance, or should I say, a good result at the end of the day between Milan and Newcastle?
I think Milan will be disappointed about the results. They were at home and they dominated the game. Newcastle had lead as they had some spells where when they had some little chances here and there, but Milan was on top of the game from beginning to the end. Rafael missed some couple of good chances,
Yeah,
and I think Milan will be disappointed. Why Newcastle will feel a little bit lucky to get away with a draw there.
the draw. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so I
it
think
puts them
Milan,
in a good position.
considering the fact that we still have PSG and Dortmund in that team,
That's money that group
in that group, your home games will count a lot.
a lot,
You need to win the home game, and if you can't beat Newcastle at home, that means you have a lot to do against Dortmund and
and
PSG.
PSG. Yeah. All right. Perfect. And of course, Shay, Lazio versus Atletico Madrid ended 1-1. Lazio goalkeeper, Ivan Providel, scored the equalizer at the 95th minute. Good one for Lazio, if you ask me. Deserved result for Lazio, as a matter of fact, or you think they were just lucky to get that draw on the night in Rome?
Yeah, of course, if you have a goalkeeper scoring for you in the 95th minute, it sounds a little bit uh, like a lock. I know some couple of goalkeepers that have done that also. However, I think they played at home. They needed, a 3 points to actually put their head up high in the group, and they were trailing 1-0 to a defensive Atletico Madrid. So they needed a goalkeeper to actually just help them out on the night. And I
That
would
was a
say,
good header.
yeah, perfect header, well placed. And I actually say that they were quite lucky to get a draw out of that game, even though
Enjoy
I
that night.
predicted a draw.
All right. Oh wow, you yeah. I remember you did. And of course, Olale, another one for you was Real Sociedad versus Inter Milan. You projected the fact that Inter were going to win on the night. Inter flattered to deceive, played the 1-1 draw against Real Sociedad. Good result for Real Sociedad, no doubt about it. Your thoughts?
Yeah. My prediction was that Inter were going to win, but again, it was a difficult game for them. I think they went behind early on in the first half, but they fought
Yeah.
back and got what do you call it, a valuable goal before the end of the game, which I think is
Uh-huh.
not bad.
Yeah.
Uh, Getting a draw away
Away from
in
home.
Spain in the Champions League against, irrespective of whether it is Madrid or for any Spanish team that is playing in the Champions League, getting that draw away from home, I don't think that's completely a bad result. So I think
Uh-huh.
Inter Milan should be happy with this result because I think and the equalizer came very late,
Yeah,
like 3 minutes
94th
before the
minute.
end of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not totally a bad result for them, though they dominated possession, but they couldn't really muster. I think they only had one shot on target, which was
Go.
uh, the goal they scored. So I think they should be satisfied with that result. Sociedad on their own part should feel a little bit let down to have because they were pretty comfortable
Uh-huh.
throughout the game, despite the fact that Inter had the possession, but they kept them at bay and should have considered 3 minutes to the end of the game is a bit
It's a
disappointing.
big, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. And Arsenal has not been in Champions League for over 2,000 and something minutes. They came back 1-4 new against PSV. Everybody was crying. PSV were um scandalous and pathetic, if you ask me. I'll boil that down to not the brilliance of Arsenal, not taking anything away from Arsenal, but the pathetic nature of the PSV team. They could not beat the press, they could not assimilate the press, and it was just a few day for Arsenal. Shay, do you think it's that, or was just the brilliance of Arsenal the night?
Yeah, really, I think you have to also put it down to the quality of players in the team of Arsenal. You can see the big difference in the two maybe
Suicide.
teams or also the two leagues. The EPL, if you see what the Arsenal team actually face week in week out in the EPL compared
Yeah,
to what PSV
yeah,
faces
uh-huh.
in the
In
what's
the
the name
Dutch
of
league.
in the Dutch league, and obviously when you put them together in the Champions League, on in a Champions League night at the Emirates, and against a team, I would like to say maybe a wounded lion, a team that has suffered, playing Champions League for a long time.
Yeah,
Obviously, the Arsenal team were all out playing good football, flowing
uh-huh.
football on the night, and PSV guys they had no idea to
No
how
clue.
to contain, no clue how to contain this particular team on the night, and obviously it was a no-brainer. They were lucky to to go
Not
back
to concede, not to
to
concede
come
more
back
than
with
four.
those, yeah, 4 goals on the night. Kudos to the Arsenal team and also to the young coach. I think
All
he's
right.
doing.
Yeah, he's doing well. Okay. We'll find out about that at the end of the season. Lawale, I'm going to come to you, of course, which is going to be the last game that we'll be reviewing. It's going to be the game between PSG and Dortmund. Dortmund, the Arsenal of Germany, like I like to call them, um, did not come to the party as usual. If you ask me, had just 31% of the possession and had just one shot on target the whole night. Mbappe, Ashraf Hakimi, deserved victory for PSG.
Easy victory for them. Easy game for them. I was disappointed in what do you call it in Dortmund. I felt they were going to probably bring more to the game, but right from the beginning to the end, PSG were in total control. They control possession. They had almost 70% of possession. They had 17 shots, three on targets. despite Dortmund 14 shot, they only have one on targets, and which means most of their shots were just not threatening at all.
That's all.
It was an easy victory for what do you call it for PSG, but I think the only major concern for PSG for me is going to be still be the decision making of Dembele. I think I like the composition of their squad a little bit right now. I think
Yeah,
it's what should is this is what probably how a rounded team should be. Not too many big stars.
yeah,
Everybody knows who is the
yeah.
fourth
Role.
big boy in
Uh huh.
that squad,
Uh huh.
and I think they play to his strengths. Dembele is just my concern about his decision making between Kolomani and Goncalo Ramos. They can switch those two.
Roles.
Lucas Hernandez at left back looks very very good.
Uh
Hakimi
huh.
doing his normal thing. So I think this team will go a little bit under the radar this year, and that could work in favor of them.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for that, Alali. Just staying at PSG. Shay, Messi came out this in the middle of the week, and it goes on about the fact that PSG did not recognize him after winning the World Cup, and of course, Twitter, because of their anti-lie detector, showed us that Messi lied. As a matter of fact, it was recognized. It was given maybe not a big party that he's expecting. It was a god at Barcelona for crying out loud. Maybe he was expecting a god-like celebration. He did not get that at PSG, but he did get a celebration. It was recognized, shown a little bit of a degree of respect for winning the World Cup. Should this go under the radar, or what kind of criticism should be leveled at Messi, honestly, for coming out and saying, "Oh, they did not recognize me," when in fact it's a big fact, no?
I think it's a dicey issue. I think Messi and Neymar have complained about PSG and PSG fans over the last 2 or 3 months of the way they were, the
Treated
way they were treated in the course of their career over there. So there are, you definitely know that there's a
bit of
backdrop,
tension.
yeah, a bit of a bit of a bad taste to
Uh huh.
whatever happened over the last 3 or 4 years
Yeah.
to these South Americans. I think I also saw a snippet of the video when Messi returned to PSG.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know, that wasn't a party, but they welcomed him. That was to the team. And I really don't know what Messi meant by that statement. He could have, maybe he expected them to present him in a particular way during his first match after coming back as a world
Coming back
champion.
at the world
And
champion.
we saw what Man City did for Alvarez. We saw what
Alvarez,
Man U did for
Martinez.
Martinez and all that. I also think for a player like Messi that actually completed football with a World Cup, I think maybe there's something special that should have been done about
That
it.
should have been done about that.
How,
But the
however,
president said, okay, the president said they lost the final against France, so they were trying to be clever about it and not upset the French.
that's a fantastic response, but still is under your is a player on your books. So whatever you're supposed to do, you're supposed to do it. But to understand that point of view, I also think Messi should understand that. They played the final against France. France lost. PSG fans are French,
Yeah.
and probably there will be a kind of muted a party for
Uh huh.
him. And
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think he should have understood that.
That's
However, we know that something went down behind the scenes.
behind the scenes at
Either
PSG
Messi and PSG or Messi and PSG fans, and I think that is what has happened. That is why he came out to say
to say
something.
that.
So I
Okay,
just
but
think,
he can have
as
he can
football
have
fans,
yeah.
it's just part of the story, part of what we want to hear, and
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
banter about.
he can give you the party at Inter Miami. Anyways, he can do that. There. Ah, Hola, straight to the. I don't want to
No,
talk
no, no,
about
no.
Messi.
I
I
think I have
want
one
it
or two
now.
things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have one or
I
two
know.
things to say about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Quickly, quickly.
Okay, number one, I think the Messi comments probably was. I think what he said was that he was the only World Cup winner in that squad that his club did not congratulate. I think that's the word, congratulate. Should that be should that be an issue? I don't think so. But I understand when he said the club did not congratulate him, and I
Mhm.
understand what the president said about like being like they have to be very sensitive. They
To the
lost to
French.
the French team were the team that lost in the finals,
Ah,
and out of respect, which I think I can understand their point, and I think Messi should ordinarily to understand, in as much as you want your team to officially send probably. I think what he meant is probably that public announcement on Twitter. Oh, congratulations to Lionel Messi for winning the World Cup. I think that is what he was actually referring to. Now, but I think that his comment was more than that congratulations message.
mm,
That comment was more about everything, a lot of things that happened in the French capital during his 2 years stay there that probably will come out to limelight one day or the other,
with the other.
or probably we probably won't get to hear about it. But I think that comment was more probably the World Cup, not congratulating him openly on Twitter or any social media for winning the World Cup, could just be, let me say, I could just be an avenue for him just to
To
put
drag them
something, which
like,
I think because
yeah,
a lot of things happen in that team.
yeah, yeah.
I wish PSG was probably an English team that the press will have dig in a lot into those things. I could have been a lot of what the dressing room leaks
Yeah,
on what and what.
comments. Yeah,
So I
exactly.
think that
100%.
comment was more about that rather than just not congratulating him for
Not
winning the World
congratulating him about it. All right, perfect. But Ali, I'm going to stay with you on this one. What exactly is happening at Chelsea? You remember that comment during the World Cup when after Saudi Arabia won against Argentina, and everybody was shouting, where is Messi? Where's Messi? Where's Messi? Right now, the question is, where's Chelsea? Where is Chelsea? What's exactly is happening with Chelsea? I really don't understand. It's not like I wish them well, and I'm
Cup.
sorry to say this. But I feel I told Shei that they were the one that killed the progress of Arsenal. So it's not like I really wish Chelsea well. But it's getting embarrassing right now. It's getting embarrassing week in, week out. This was the run of fixtures that Chelsea should have ordinarily won to gain confidence. They are going into a bout of fixtures that could potentially kill them for the rest of the season. I could potentially look at their futures, but I know they are playing Arsenal in a couple of weeks as well. Probably Newcastle, Manchester United, and a couple of other teams, which makes it, I don't know, it makes it more difficult going to these fixtures with low confidence as it is right now. What exactly are we happening with them right now? They have Brighton next, then Fulham, then okay. They have Brighton
If
next,
you
then Fulham,
Debo,
then
just
Burnley.
let me save you. Just let me save you some bit of these things.
Yeah.
If you watch that last week game against Bournemouth, I think
Mm-hmm.
that last week game sum up everything about Chelsea now. Since that last week game, I'm probably not too. I'm not surprised about what happened today against Aston Villa. In fact, going into this game, I had that feeling that they might likely lose.
Hmm.
Uh, it seemed that it's poorly constructed. I think that's the best way I can just say it. Poorly constructed, and I think it would take probably. I'm not probably saying an Nkunku is let me say
Going to be the
is the guy
Messiah.
that is a messiah. But I think one good thing about football is no matter how we try to make it, one good thing about football is one thing that is very underrated about football is how players fit in together. It is something we don't really pay attention to. I just think the sum of that Chelsea team is a combination of players who don't fit in together. And I think
Hmm.
from that, their attacking midfield upward, it is just to all with all due respect to Sterling, outside Sterling, is it Gala. I think Gallagher was the most advanced player today.
Yeah,
Is it Modric or is it Jackson that you want to rely? It's just everything around that thing just doesn't fit well. And I think no matter how bad Ben Chilwell is, he needs to find a way to accommodate him
I
in
get
that
anything.
team. Because even Modric has not been attacking wise, they just don't know how to create a chance. I think they don't
Yeah,
really have
Modric.
a plan on
Yeah,
how, what they want to do attacking wise. And I think any team will be very comfortable to execute their game plan against them.
against them.
Bournemouth was never a highly defensive team, and that is where I had my issue last week. Like, you are playing a team that is not good and not so highly defensive, but you could hardly cut out chances.
Mm.
That's and you have a striker that, and again, as a team that you don't create many chances, you need an efficient striker. But likewise, now
That
you
can
have a
bury your
striker that needs
chances.
like 10 or 15 chances to score one goal. You are in trouble. So for me, I think the season is right up for Chelsea. They should continue their. I think they need to. You see, a winning team is just beyond a good player and a good coach. It the people behind the scene as they have to do their own job too. Chelsea needs to have a proper footballing what do you call it plan before signing any player. It's not just by the just signing 100 million. And
Wha-
again,
But
there's something
it's
with something we need to take notes when you
yeah,
buy players from teams like Ajax, Brighton. Those teams have a system
yeah.
that works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of those players might just be very good in the system, and when they get
Yeah,
out at times in a
yeah.
team that you probably need to put in, you bring in your individuality,
They will not be able
it
to
might not
replicate.
be
They might not be able to
it might not be able
exhibit
to
that.
replicate. So those are the things you need to watch out again when you are signing players. I think Chelsea have not done a very good job. And for whatever is happening at Chelsea now, and probably United to an extent, is just validating the good work person like people like Pep Guardiola they put in at Chelsea. Because now I you go back to like 3 years ago, and what we have now, the way people make noise about Guardiola overspending, spending more than the other, what do you call it,
The
teams,
other coaches. Yeah,
is that narrative is not like selling now again. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying.
yeah. Definitely,
Like,
100%.
how do you justify that with Chelsea buying 2 cm for a combined like 230 million pounds? So I think
It's
they
crazy.
just need a hard look. They need to sit down and do a proper. I think
But
this season is already.
but yeah.
I
But
think this
that's
season is already a off for them.
yeah. But that's
They
the
need
problem. And Sheyi, I will come. I'll come to you with the problem. Chelsea already spent £1 billion over the last three windows. And the problem with that is the fact that although they've been able to shift, technically, they spent just 450 million, technically, because they had an out of about 230 something million pounds. And the £1 billion they spent is spanned across 7 years, 6 to 7 years, maybe eight. So in eyes of financial payroll, they've actually spent like £450 million over the last three windows. But these guys, this bunch of rappers that they've signed, they have to take wages. That's number one. To get yourself out of routes of this kind of route that you have right now, because they have one of the best coaches in terms of player development. We know what this guy can do. We've seen what he did with the young sports team. Players like Lucas Moura, David Dele Alli, and the rest, and the host of them. Right? We know what he can do with youngsters. If this guy fails, then they have to bring in a coach that will probably be like Antonio Conte or Jose Mourinho that wants to spend. So that means you have to spend another 1 billion again, which technically could make you get on the south side of financial payroll. How are they? Because for me personally, they are digging a hole for themselves right now. Because those guys will not go. Okay, I'll give you an instance. Makatia signed a £40,000 per week contract with Bournemouth. He has 2 years left. I don't know if you guys saw that. He has two years left on his contract. He said, "I'm not leaving. I'll run out this contract." And we all know the story of Winston Bogart as well. So if you have like 20 players in that kind of scenario, that's a huge problem. How did they get themselves out of this ditch that they digged for themselves?
Yeah, obviously, then big. Don't let me say big trouble yet, because the season is still young. But
Okay.
the stars are not aligning properly for Chelsea as it is at the moment, and just everything you talked about in terms of financials is looking quite bleak. Because if you really look at it, they spent quite a lot. They were lucky to be able to structure, these particular transfers to a
Uh-huh.
long-term structure. I'm very sure that UEFA and maybe English FA are still looking at the technicalities around that before they
Around,
bring
yeah.
another type of, kind of
Charges against
law.
them. Yeah, law.
Yeah, even if it's not charges now, but something to
Law to curb,
prevent,
yeah,
yeah,
to
to curb
prevent
that
such
in the
occurrence.
future. Because I think their accountants and their financial guys were very, very smart to do this for them. However, they are also able to sell some players out. So if you look at their net spend, actually, it's not
Uh-huh.
so bad.
Yeah,
Now, where
it's
the
not.
problem is for them, and where the problem of financial fair play comes in, is if you're unable to make money but you are spending money. That is where the issue is. So your statement about the salaries, I don't know if these guys are heavy earners. That's another part of the financial
Yeah,
picture. If they are small earners, it's quite okay for them to be able to manage that. And they not being in big competitions is going to take a toll on their finances, because they are unable to collect the big money from Europe. They are also unable to have enough gate takings. So those are the things that's going to affect their financials. Now, if you now boils down to the football aspect, if they're unable
yeah,
to, to get a proper, what's it called, position in the league, it will affect their TV rights money they're going to earn also. So
yeah,
those are the things that is going to affect them in the next 1 or 2 years.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the last thing they want to do, Debo, the last thing
Mhm.
they want to do is to sack Pochettino. Number one, there will be compensation. That's number one. There will be
Yeah,
compensation. That's
of
money
course.
out. There'll be
Yeah.
money to get a new coach. He will probably earn more than Pochettino. And now
Hmm.
the coach will come with his own plan in terms of investment into the team. I don't think you have the money now.
To do that.
Also, that is like pressing a refresh button. So for now, I think the best thing they can do, the best thing for Chelsea right now is patience. You have to be very, very patient with Pochettino. You have one of the best guys that can bring something out of anything in terms of you have the likes of these young boys. So the patience has to, a proper one this time
One.
around. Let
Okay.
him try to get something out of this team. Let him be able to sieve what he wants,
Yeah.
what he wants to keep, and what he wants to maybe send on load or sell at the end of the
At the end of
season.
the season.
Is
Anyways,
it?
talking
That is the
about
one
yeah,
for
talking
them.
about salaries, just a run through of their salary. Raheem Sterling, Olale, and I hope you are listening to me. Hence £325,000 every week. Enzo Fernandez, £315,000. Lukaku, £325,000 every week. Rhys James, 250. Ben Chilwell, 200. Wesley Fofana, 200. Nkuku, 195. Cucurella, 175. Mose Casedo 150, Malangsa 120, and others at like 100, 100. And of course, David Fofana.
Sorry, Debo, sorry. Before you go
Yeah,
on that,
yeah.
what I was thinking of something some couple of days ago when I saw Lukaku playing. What do you call it? In the was
For
it the
Roma.
Europa League
Okay.
and the Italian League? Of a second thought, I just feel like coaches at times are very weird and sometimes they just want to do some. Is that like
Is
what
Lukaku that bad?
what
I
I
cannot get to Chelsea training.
exactly what the Lukaku I still because the way the whole thing it was treated in the summer was of like somebody who's now a crap or that is probably not useful. But I saw a player who could still probably add to a very good, in fact, to even any top a top side.
Yeah,
Is it that
100%.
bad that you just have to freeze him out, or is it beyond football? Another thing now you made mention of, okay, they were very smart about the way they spread those money. You know, the good thing about accounting is, even though yes, they are smart about it today now, it's going to affect them in the future, because those money we count as what do you call it?
Liabilities.
We count against them in the future. It's not like they can just hide it or this thing. If you spread any money over a period of time,
Yeah,
it will count for those years too. So
yeah,
that's
exactly,
the danger
100%.
from where they are heading to now.
Yeah, that's
So
which is what I was saying. Anyways, Chelsea in a Digo a great hole right now. No thanks to the English government for sending away Abramovic. They put them in this kind of mess. I'm pretty sure if we still have people like Emiliano, Peter Cech, and Maria, that genius of a woman, if they are still at the helms of our we would never see this kind of rubbish at Chelsea. Never, never, we'll never see this kind of rubbish at Chelsea. And Chelsea will not be in the fourth position after 6 games in the Premier League after playing against West Ham, Luton City, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, and Aston Villa. The only top side they played right now is just Liverpool. That's the only top side they played so far. So far. And they have just a whooping, and I'm using the word whooping sarcastically, 5 points. Anyways, we'll move away from the troubles of Chelsea and we'll move to a club that is looking solid right now. They are back at it. Bruno Fernandes calling for them. Uh,
sorry, Zebo, you said sorry, I
that
didn't.
they are looking solid. Olale,
Okay.
please, they are looking solid. They came back with Bruno Fernandes with that winner. Tweak the formation a little bit. Things are not working out well, both on field and off field for them. With the Jadon Sancho scandal. Oh, sorry, Antonio scandal. Jadon Sancho disagreement and probably a couple of injuries for them as well. Things are not looking so good off the field, but there's a way they tweak the team a little bit. Hannibal, trying to put in a little bit of makeshift formation together to get a victory and to push them across. Sometimes you just need to push yourself across those fixtures. A run of good results can actually boost the morale of the team, which is what United are. The, the present situation of United right now. Push yourself across the line, and they did just that against Burnley. Maybe not the results you would think they will get. You were expecting maybe 4 goals, 3 goals on a normal day, but at least they won. Shay, Alarm bells has gone down right now. Do you think United will be able to boost their confidence with this victory, which is very important for them?
Yeah. Anyway, it sounds somehow to me. I don't know how Lawale feels about this. Saying that a win over Burnley is a confidence booster, especially a slim win. I don't think so.
Okay,
However, every 3 points really matters at the moment. You
exactly.
don't want to you don't want to be languishing, in the bottom half of the table,
Yeah,
seeing the likes of City, Liverpool, and the likes up there. These just 6 games. You have like almost, I think City has like double points of what Man U
what
has.
United as
You
right now.
you don't want that, and it's already showing that a kind of sign of a bad season. So I don't want to celebrate that. I don't think that's a resurgence, but they need to actually start putting together wins to bring back that belief.
Yeah,
Also,
gradually.
don't let us forget also that apart from the what's it called? Apart from the personal issues that we have with Sancho and Anthony,
Hmm.
there is also the part of injuries affecting the team. So the
Yeah,
team actually is not they don't have actually a kind of full house
squad.
basically,
Yeah,
and what they just need to do now is to keep getting the 3 points, just keep moving, and
gradually. Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
when all this dust settles down and they're
Settles.
able to
Yeah,
get the players back into training and get the best formation and the best combination together, maybe we'll see a different Man U. I hope to see that in couple of weeks. I'm very
Okay.
sure the team will actually still perform this season. I'm
Yeah.
very sure of that. But
Yeah.
right now, they just need to start picking up the three
Picking up,
points.
yeah, gradually. Malali, my U is gonna be playing against Brentford next. Then they'll be playing against Sheffield United, then Manchester City, then Fulham, which are pretty good fixtures. And then after that, they will be playing against Luton and Everton and the flattering Everton. So it's a good run of fixtures for United on paper at least. How well do you think this victory against Burnley is going to boost their confidence? And when guys like Varane, Martinez comes back, there will be at least we've seen that they could score goals, even if those goals were cheap against Bayern Munich, quote and unquote. But at least they could score goals and create chances, which is paramount as well.
Yeah, I think United issue is just a bit of just too cloudy. You don't. It's not so clear about the direction of the team. In as much as yes, a trip at this stage, I think the most important thing going into that Burnley game was getting the victory,
Yeah.
which the team actually did.
Hmm.
But again, if you look at the circumstances around how that victory was
Came
achieved,
about. Yeah.
again, you feel like there are some bit of confusion and there. The team didn't really
Yeah.
play well. It was a go out of nothing
Uh-huh.
because the XG of that goal it would be as low as anything. Like if Bruno Fernandes missed that ball, I'm not sure anybody will probably hold him like, wow, you
Yeah,
missed.
100%. Yeah. You miss a glaring
And
chance.
beyond that, how many clear-cut chances did United create? And that has always been my major problem with the way the team play as a whole. And it's against Burnley, 37% possession just shows that is it that the team does not really they are not really interested in even trying to build their own attack or because I just believe one of the best way for you to defend is by controlling the game. Not
Mm.
having 37% possession against Burnley shows that the team doesn't have any much control. Neither Casemiro or McTominay yesterday was willing to receive the ball from the defenders. The gap between the defense and the midfield is so much. Midfield and attack, it's so much. And again, looking at that formation against Brighton, now against Burnley, more of a diamond formation that has Rashford and Rasmus Holland up
All right.
front,
Yeah.
with Rashford probably drifting to the left. My question is it the formation he is looking to build on going forward? Or this is just a formation pending the
I think
time
it's,
Anthony
I think
comes
it's
back.
just an adjustment. Yeah, I think it's just an adjustment
Pending the
till.
time Anthony comes back.
Mhm.
And how does he sort out his midfield codrum? Is it going to be his record sorry one of his big signing Mount back in that midfield to pair
Oh
Casemiro, or
yeah.
is it going to be Amrabat? Because the way it looks now, I think it has to be more of Amrabat. You need a bit of steel and somebody who can
Still,
still
yeah,
probably
in the middle,
pass
middle of
the
the park.
ball from the back easily. That and another thing is this. Somebody took I think in Eric Ten Hag needs to look himself in the mirror and probably have to make some very tough call. Do you observe that Mo Salah, not this season, even previous seasons, there are times that uh, there are times that Jurgen Klopp substitutes him around 60 something, 70 something minutes during the game, even when the game is still on the line. I still remember against Chelsea, even at 2-2, he got substituted around 70 something minutes. Today I saw Son and Madison being substituted. Of course, probably I might not like the two,
Yeah.
but there's a trend about the United. Rashford and Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes seems like they can't just get substituted, no matter how bad or how necessary for them. Because I think that game yesterday, a Garnacho towards the end of the game could have been very, very better. We know what influence he has. Of course, in his games he has played for United, he has impacted the game better
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
coming off
When
the
coming
bench.
in. Yeah.
And this because my problem is these two guys might be my problem with United that these two guys might be the what we call is the biggest player in the team, but
What's their
compared to
influence,
what
their impact?
we have outside, they shouldn't be having this kind of influence of you can't take them out. They don't really. They have major weaknesses in their games that doesn't really warrant them to have this kind of feeling like,
Influence, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because I, I if you put Rashford in that Arsenal team, it doesn't get 90 minutes every time. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't probably start in every game.
Yeah,
If you put him in the Man City team, is going to be on rotation. If you put him in Liverpool team, it's going to be on rotation.
yeah.
So what are we talking about? So he himself needs to be, and that's where this my discipline or no discipline. He needs to be very consistent and and try to coach, because there's this thing that comes out with Rashford that becomes a norm. This is inability to use his brain and just every time power, pace, and that is all.
I know. All
So,
right.
but he has a lot of time to sort himself out. But I think there are a lot of issues that need to be resolved.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Two United played themselves earlier in the day, and there's a difference between the United. Sean Longstaff, Dan Bond, Steve Boatman, Colin Wilson, Antonio Gordon, Miguel Almiron, Bruno Guimaraes, and Alexandra Isak. They were just one goal away from spelling. No, they were two goals. They were one goal away from spelling Sheffield. We saw this kind of game again between Bournemouth and Liverpool last week. Sheffield prime to go down, if you ask me. Prime to go down. Maybe with Burnley and Everton. Hopefully, I want Everton to go anyways. Um, it's a crazy one, Shay. It's a crazy one. Newcastle should be, because we saw the same Sheffield against Manchester City, and they held their own against City. Although City won at the end of the day, but they held their own against City. And here we are. Newcastle is defeated them 8-0. Football is not mathematics, anyways, but this shows you that be careful of Newcastle. On their day, if you're not careful, they might eat more than four past you.
Yeah, obviously, and we need to also remember that I think they reinforced that team properly over the summer, and when you think you are not facing Isaac, you're actually facing an informed Wilson also. So
Yeah.
it was a rampant performance early in that particular game. I think Avi Barnes was substituted maybe in the early minutes, maybe like 5 minutes, and Gordon came
Came in.
into the team and
Yeah.
happened to be, if not the best player of that particular game.
Mhm.
Totally destroyed the Sheffield United team
Sheffield United. Yeah.
from that, yeah, I think from the left side, while Trippier had a hat trick of assists in that particular game.
Oh wow.
Scored, imagine. So, but I think the Sheffield United team, like you said, showed a little bit of promises in the early part of the game. I think the first 10 minutes,
Mhm.
they were actually stringing passes together better than Newcastle. But you could see that the quality between the two
Gulf of
teams
difference. Yeah.
just picked up. The moment they considered the first goal, they kept on conceding. Like you said, their prime, what's it called, potential relegation material as it is. Uh, However, we think Newcastle is really here to stay in that top six, and they are really
Definitely.
flexing their muscles the way it is.
Definitely. Definitely top six. Definitely top six. If you ask me. To another one, Olale is going to be Arsenal versus Spurs. Spurs were they were devoid of ideas in the first half, making individual errors that Arsenal could have capitalized on, but they did not. And my question is, and this is a question that has been ruminating for the past couple of weeks. Do you think the lack of a potent goal striker, and not the word potent goal striker, is going to have cost Arsenal, or was even the reason, one of the reasons they could not win the league last season? And do you think it's going to cost them a chance to compete to the end of the season for the league? They probably will not win the league. I see City winning the league, as a matter of fact, but I feel having a conventional number nine that can barely goals, that can score goals, not Gabriel Jesus or Eddie Nketiah? Do you think it's going to cost them?
Well, I when I saw the lineup, uh, I think he got his wrong from the lineup. I don't think Gabriel Jesus was very effective on the left. Gabriel Jesus is better to start as a center forward than drift to the left, not starting from the
Mm,
left. I think we have to get those two things
yeah, clear.
clear. So I felt when they signed Jesus last season, I think it's a job that he could actually do. I think it's just left for what do you call it, Ateta to make him do that to stay. He can score goals, he can do the other, but I think he tends to do so much
So
that
much.
uh, he probably gets carried away from what he's primarily meant to do. But I feel this game you could have probably start him as a center forward and probably play somebody like Smith Rowe on that left
Business.
side. Smith
Okay.
Rowe or Nelson, because 2 seasons ago, Smith Rowe started the season with Arsenal on that left side for like up to the half point of the season when Martinelli came
Hmm.
back from injury. And
Yeah.
so I don't know why you have to do a makeshift, what do you call it, adjustment by pulling this thing. Yeah, but going back to staying to the question you asked, yes, it's looking like that. Probably Arsenal should have probably used that money on what do you call it,
Harvard.
Harvard, probably to get a probably more conventional center forward, because multiple people within that squad can still do whatever you want Harvard to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can play. What's the name of this guy that just got injured that came in from Arsenal that scored last week? Yeah, Trossard can play that role.
Yeah.
Smith Rowe can play that role.
Hmm. Fabio
Even
Vieira can play the role.
Fabio Vieira can play that role. So I just think, yeah, I tend to agree with you. Probably that because that could have probably
Because even
helped them.
Guardiola could not win the Champions League until you got Elena to bang in the
And
goal.
and beyond that, I think I think Arsenal just they have to learn to manage games better. I mean the top games. We've
Yeah.
seen them flatter to deceive. You see, when you come to the top game, the last thing you want is mistakes. I'm not saying mistakes will not happen, but those are the periods you want to be at your
Want to control. Yeah.
best when it comes to
Let's go.
concentration.
Focus. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you have to be at your top move focus, this thing best. Unfortunately, that equalizer, I think the goalkeeper went a little bit asleep. The cross that beats him, that hits the bar, this as in what led to that side. I think that could have been avoided. He could have probably catch that ball once.
Hmm.
Then Jorginho losing, what do you call it, possession at the very wrong time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For all the bad things we want to say about Arsenal, I think we need to give Tottenham their flowers.
Of
With
course,
yes, of
Tottenham
course,
played very well in the
probably they
second
could have
leg.
gone
Yeah.
behind 2 or 3 nil, but again, since they kept themselves into the game, I
Uh
think
huh.
they grew into the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were
Personally, I feel Sports played better than us now.
they
Personally.
and Son gave us a master class on how to score goals. I
Yeah.
think that first one was a typical striker goal,
Yeah.
sneaking
Yeah.
into between 2
100%.
defender. Just
Three defenders.
he knows what to do. He knows
Yeah.
that it's just a little touch to to guide the ball into the net. And the second one is that emphasis on 2 things. The last thing you want is to concede the goal immediately after
He
you go
scored.
ahead, and that was a bad, terrible decision on the part of Jorginho. But again, Madison reminds us that football is a team sport. He had
Hmm.
a chance to take that ball on a solo run, but he
Yeah.
chose the better option.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Son again, expecting that ball, make a proper shift of his body shape, guide the ball with a one
But
touch into the net. That's
yeah.
a
Yeah.
very classic.
100%.
Those are the things that make difference in a lot of teams. Those
Yeah.
those 2 goals he scored
Few
today
things. Yeah.
was a world class goal, and I think
Yeah.
Spurs is going to be a problem this season. They just probably announced that
Definitely.
to us, and I
Definitely.
think for United, that should be their biggest worry. Spurs and
And
Newcastle
Newcastle.
performance today with Brighton, those three
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
are going to give
Yeah.
them trouble from making that
One of the
top.
100%. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come to you before we round up on the show today and gloss over a couple of things. Is the fact that we've seen what he has done so far with West Ham. See that one goal and an assist since he came into the West Ham team, and we've seen James Madison that went on a court price of 40 million pounds. I don't know what everybody was thinking. Madison will have greatly improved Manchester United. Madison would have been a better option to Kai Havertz as Arsenal. Madison would have been a great option for Newcastle. Madison would have been a great option for all the top six teams. Honestly, Saboslai, fantastic player. Maybe Saboslai would not, but Saboslai went for 63 million pounds. Madison was just 40 million pounds. You know, so it's if you look at it like okay, everybody slept on it. But my question is, who was so far this season in England? I'm not going to call Jude Bellingham. Who has been the signing of the season so far? So far, Prowse or James Madison? For you personally, is your opinion? Don't worry, I'm not going to hold you too much accountable for it.
Yeah. Okay. One thing before I answer that question, I think James Madison's age is around 30 thereabouts. Um,
Madison, are you sure about
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to
I doubt it.
confirm that
Yeah,
because
I'll confirm. Go ahead. I'll confirm for you.
all right. So I'm trying to correlate the issue with
It's just
It's
26.
26.
26, right?
Yeah. What Prowse
So
is older. What Prowse should
okay,
be
I
30 or
think World
31.
Price should be like 30
Yeah.
thereabouts.
Yeah. What Prowse should be
Okay,
30 or 31.
okay,
Uh
okay, thereabouts. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm trying to
Oh,
make
what Prowse is 28. Sorry. It's 28.
28. Okay. I'm trying to make a case for the top six teams
Okay.
that refuse to look in that direction.
Okay.
Apart from the truth that some of them can say they have a proper number 10, right? Man, you will say Bruno is there, and I think Arsenal will talk about Odegaard at the moment. And the likes of Liverpool will tell us they bought
Saboslai.
Saboslai and McAllister thereabout.
Yeah.
However, I think James Madison transfer to Tottenham for now is still my transfer of the season. Probably
That's
maybe
fine.
in the next month coming up, we'll see something different from the new signees in this league. But for now, I think it's Madison. If you look at his influence on the
Uh-huh.
Tottenham team, it's massive. Kudos to the two guys Olawale mentioned earlier in this show, or was it pre-show, Bisoma and Sa. But the
Yeah.
beauty of the work those guys are doing behind is because Madison is actually making the perfect passes and the
Passes.
touches in the attacking line of that Tottenham team.
Same.
He's actually the one that is making Tottenham not miss
Sick.
Harry Kane at the moment
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he is putting it on a plate for the rest.
All right.
That's
Perfect.
it.
Okay,
All
but
right.
I would like to
Yeah.
comment on
Allow it.
probably who
Yeah.
slept on the Madison this thing.
Yeah.
Technically looking at just trying to look at those teams,
Uh-huh.
in as much as I would have loved Madison to probably come to United, but again, I think it adds to the more problem of United signing more number 10 than what they actually need, which is actually a number 8. Because Donny van de Beek was a 10 to come and it was signed to come and play a deeper position, which is probably not used to or doesn't have the physicality. There's a Fernandez there and some couple of guys. In as much as I want him in United, I think it will have created more
More
tactical
problem.
issue for the team more than this. Uh, I think two teams that looks to that probably, I think Newcastle and Arsenal to an extent. The reason why I said
Or
Arsenal is
Chelsea.
or Chelsea, I think it will drastically improve Chelsea a lot. It will bring that creativity that's currently lacking that they don't get in Colin Gallagher by now, and it should have made the work of Enzo Fernandez much easier. I think Chelsea should be the greatest. I'm going for 40 million pounds. I think they are the one that probably, yes, I think you are right. It should be Chelsea should be number one. I think Arsenal should be number two. I think is going to do a far better job, even though it's going to be on slightly to the left,
Mhm.
which is what Albert is playing. I think we will do a far better job than whatever Kai Havertz has done so far
So far
this
this season.
season. This
Okay.
season. And I think
All
the
right.
third team that will probably missed on him, I think, is Newcastle United. I think it gives them something. Of course, they have
Defense.
Tonali, they have Gumares. Even
Yeah,
though they
this
tend to play with all these all guys
muscles.
like box to box. If you look at
Yeah.
their three guys in that midfield, is more there is no natural defensive midfielder in that Newcastle team. The three of them
Mhm.
are more of a box to box.
Yeah.
So though Madison will probably change that, what do you call it, that balance. But
Dynamics.
I think it
Yeah.
will have given their attack a little bit of a different dynamics than what they presently have.
All right. Perfect. And of course, Madrid in trouble. They lost against Atletico Madrid 3-1 with Alvaro Morata scoring 2 goals. We've been talking about that for past couple of weeks. Madrid, you need to get a goal scorer. You need to get it fast into your squad. Barcelona went 2 goals down, but came back in the last 10 minutes to win 3-2 against Celta Vigo. And of course, Liverpool back in line, defeating, winning as well 3-1. Daniel Nunes can't stop scoring right now. And of course, Rodri got the red card in their famous win. But City still looks prime to do a repeat in the Premier League. And of course, that's the show, and that's the wrap of the show. My name is still Alija Adebo Ali. 61 minutes it was today, but it's still 60 minutes with News Santa. So we'll see you again next week. Don't stop supporting sport. Bye, guys.